U.S. Election 2024. New evidence causes the judge to postpone Trump's hush money trial. Following a last-minute disclosure of evidence, Manhattan Judge Juan Manuel Merchan postponed the hush money criminal trial of former President Donald Trump for a minimum of 30 days. As the judge investigates a last-minute material dump that the former president's attorneys said hindered their capacity to prepare their defense, the judge postponed Friday the start of Donald Trump's New York hush money criminal trial until at least mid-April. After Mr. Trump's attorneys voiced their displeasure at having only just begun obtaining almost 100,000 pages of records from an earlier federal probe into the subject, Manhattan Judge Juan Manuel Merchan agreed to a 30-day postponement beginning Friday and set a hearing for March 25. The original date for the trial's commencement was March 25. Due to the postponement, the trial cannot begin before April 15. There would be no objection to a brief postponement, according to the prosecutors. The legal team for Mr. Trump has asked for a 3-month postponement and has also asked to dismiss the case. The Trump campaign maintained its stance in a statement released on Friday, stating that the complaint has no basis in law or fact, and should be dismissed. On Friday, Mr. Merchan wrote to the Manhattan prosecutors and Mr. Trump's legal team, expressing his desire to determine who, if anyone, is at responsibility for the late provision of the documents, the extent to which the delay harmed either party, and the appropriateness of any punishment. The court wanted a record of when everything happened, from the request to the handover of the required documents. Furthermore, he requests any and all communications between the federal prosecutor's office, which conducted an investigation into the case in 2018, and the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which is currently investigating Mr. Trump. The Office of the Manhattan District Attorney chose not to comment. Additionally, Trump's attorney Todd Blanche chose not to respond. In a surprising turn of events, Mr. Merchan decided against bringing the first of 4 criminal charges against Mr. Trump to trial. Assumptive Republican presidential contender for 2024, Mr. Trump, has battled to postpone all of his criminal proceedings, claiming he should not be compelled to appear in court while he is on trial for his campaign. Just last Thursday was Mr. Trump's legal team's court petition made public, but last week they brought up the evidentiary issue. They asked for a lot of things in their motion. They requested, among other things, the dismissal of Mr. Trump's accusations, a 90-day delay that would put the trial start date into early summer, and the preclusion of testimony from certain witnesses. On March 25, prosecutors stated they were prepared to go to trial. However, they were fine with a 30-day postponement to ensure that defendant has the time to evaluate the additional materials and in an abundance of caution. In his letter, Mr. Merchan asked the prosecution for their approval to postpone the trial for 30 days from the date of the letter. When the court determines on the defendant's motion following the hearing, it will schedule the new trial date, if required. Not engage or otherwise enter into any obligation till completion of this trial is still Mr. Merchan's previous instruction to the parties, including Mr. Trump, he said. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office investigated the hush money deal while Mr. Trump was president, and in the past 2 weeks, Mr. Trump's attorneys claimed to have received tens of thousands of pages of evidence from the office. According to Mr. Trump's legal team, the material includes exculpatory and helpful to the defense information pertaining to Michael Cohen, a former Trump lawyer who is now a prosecution witness. Although some records are relevant, prosecutors claim that the majority of the newly disclosed materials are essentially unrelated to the subject matter of this case. Allegations in the hush money case center on whether or not Mr. Trump lied about the nature of payments made to Mr. Cohen, who allegedly paid porn star Stormy Daniels $130,000 during Mr. Trump's 2016 presidential campaign to silence her about her alleged extramarital affair with him. Mr. Trump has denied ever having a sexual encounter with Ms. Daniels and pleaded not guilty to 34 felony counts of falsifying business records last year. His attorneys maintain that their client's payments to Mr. Cohen did not constitute a cover-up but rather lawful expenditures. Accusations against Mr. Trump's legal team stem from their failure to subpoena the complete case file from the U.S. Attorney's Office until January 18, 9 weeks prior to the anticipated commencement of jury selection, according to prosecutors. According to District Attorney Alvin Bragg's office, they asked for the complete file last year, but the U.S. Attorney's Office only gave them part of it. According to the district attorney's office, Mr. Trump's legal team had plenty of time after receiving the material in June to request further evidence from the federal investigation. Although brief trial delays caused by evidentiary problems are common, any such delay in a case involving Mr. Trump would have a major impact, especially considering the uncertainty surrounding the trial dates of his other criminal charges and the fact that Election Day is less than 8 months away. In addition, the defense has asked the Supreme Court to rule on Mr. Trump's presidential immunity claims, which his attorneys believe may relate to certain claims and evidence in the hush money case. Hence, they want the trial postponed until then. On April 25, the Supreme Court will have its oral argument session. In his bid for a second term as president, Mr. Trump has often asked the courts to delay his criminal prosecution. According to Mr. Trump, we want delays as he addressed media before his February 15 hearing in New York. I am clearly vying for the office. If you spend all day in a Manhattan courtroom, how are you going to run for office?